Howdy, I'm Matthew Gage, pastor at Faith Baptist Church. This is our daily Bible study. We're in Genesis chapter number 27, and quite a bit going on in this chapter, a little bit lengthy. I think we got 46 verses, if I remember correctly. It goes on past 2 pages in my Bible here. So quite a bit going on, and there's a lot of stuff going on in here. The main thing we're going to see is the transaction take place where Jacob is going to, through trickery, is going to obtain the blessing of his father that was meant for Esau. And in a lot of ways, I think this is fulfilling of the bargain he had made with Esau before, where he had purchased the birthright for a pot of stew at the time. So I think this is where we begin to see some of that, the fruition of that transaction begin to take place here. Now, it does not make Jacob look good. Jacob is having to, and his mother in on it too, have to resort to subtlety and trickery to get this done. But we'll get in here and read about how Esau will lose the blessing of his father here. And then some of the fallout, we'll begin to see some of the fallout from that, which you can imagine would not set well with Esau. So let's jump on in. Genesis 27, verse number 1. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold, now I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, weapons, thy quiver and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison, and make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. So Isaac's, is pretty clear here. Isaac is saying, I don't think I've got much longer here, but I want you to go out and, kill a deer. I want you to go out and make me some meat that you make that I like. I almost want to picture a beef jerky or something in those lines. With him being old, I doubt that's what it is. But this specialty that Esau would make, he says, I want you to go out and do that for me. So we see here in verse number 5. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. So Rebekah overhears this. Now she knows what's happening. She reads the intent that Isaac has, that Isaac is doing this as kind of a almost last will and testament kind of thing. He's wanting to impart the blessing and kind of the birthright process, go ahead and get that transaction started towards Esau. Verse number 6. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. So we'll see here who's the mastermind behind this plan. A lot of blame usually goes to Jacob on this, but the mastermind of the plan was Rebekah. She's the one that comes up with this plan. She has her favorite in Jacob, and I think she knows about the transaction. She's also weary of Esau. We already saw that in the last chapter, that she was she and Isaac were upset about Esau's choices for wives, plural, and not just plural, but also from where they came from. So I think Rebekah may be acting providentially here. I mean, and God definitely is working behind the scenes in this, as much shenanigans as going on right here. Let's see here. Where are we at? Verse number 9. Go now, this is Rebekah speaking, here's the plan. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. So Jacob, is bringing up, I don't think he thought this plan through. If he's going to bless me, he already knows his eyesight's not very good. He's going to reach forward. Talks about being a hairy man. Esau, from his birth, appears to have had a lot of hair. In this, I kind of imagine, the beard and things that he would have. And Jacob didn't have that. Jacob was not the big, hairy mountain man kind of guy. So, he says, Mother, there's a problem with this. Verse 13. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat such as his father loved. So you see here Rebecca stepping in. She's, instead of going out and hunting, they're just going to take 2 kids from the flock, make the same kind of meat. And then we're going to now go on to verse 15 and see the disguise that's put in place. Verse 15, and Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she made the savory meat and bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. So plans in place. They've got this meat that she's prepared, and now the disguise is in place. And you know, not only is he wearing Esau's clothes, so I assume some part of that may be smell, and Isaac can't see very good, but maybe the colors or something might remind him of his son, the smell, but also the goat hair. This guy must have been very hairy if you're having to put that on your neck or put it on your hands, and that's what you feel like. Feel like a goat. He must have a lot of hair. So verse number 18. And he said unto his father, and said, or he came unto his father, and said, My father, and he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? Because immediately here, no, that's not Esau's voice. So who is it? And I think Jacob's, probably trying to lower his voice and talk, more like his brother. And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it thou hast found it so quickly, my son? Isaac's suspicious. Wait a minute, you've only been gone 30 minutes, or whatever it is, probably not 30 minutes, but I told you to go hunting. How did you find meat so quickly? And the rest of that verse says, and he said, Because the Lord thy God brought it to me. Well, God gave it to me, providence. I can't help it. God bless my hunt. Verse 21. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. So, like I say, Isaac is suspicious. Verse 22. Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Feeling that goat hair on the back of his hands. My goodness, how hairy Esau must have been. Verse 23, and he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother's Esau's hands. So he blessed him. So here we go, verse 24. And he, that's Isaac, said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. That's the second time there he has testified, saying, I am not Jacob, I am Esau. So verse 25, and he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled of the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. So once again, now it's like, hey, when he comes near to kiss and smell, okay, Isaac's so suspicious here. He's thinking, wait a minute, the voice isn't right, but he is hairy. He did bring me meat. He smells right. So maybe, he's got a cold or something. I don't know how he's justifying this in his mind, but, there's enough evidence stacking up in Isaac's mind that this must truly be Esau. So verse 24, continuing here, what Isaac says, Therefore God give thee of the dew of the heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. So, like I say, what's the particulars of this blessing? I think that a lot of this has to do with that birthright, plus that special promise, that lineage that's coming down, that God promised to Abraham, that passed Isaac. And you see, I think, some similar language here, talking about Lord over, the mother's sons, over brethren, and things, prosperity. And the curse would be the ones curse thee, blessed thee, those kind of language, that kind of language. We see that in some of the promises made to Abraham. So there we go. It's, the blessing has been imparted by Isaac. Like I say, it was through trickery that Jacob receives this, but now he has received the blessing. Verse number 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And I think immediately here is Isaac hears Esau's voice, it's a little bit deeper voice. I just picture in my mind here, knows, wait a minute, that is the voice of Esau. Verse 32. And Isaac his father said to him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. So now, as Isaac and Esau realize what's happened here, that the transaction kind of has already been taking place. This wasn't just a mere words or anything. I think this is more of like a laying out will and testament kind of thing, if you want to use, kind of modern culture take in this. And so Isaac realizes what has happened here, that he's basically imparted the blessing, the birthright, and such, and the promise of the Abraham's promises, that lineage to Jacob and not to Esau. And Esau realizing he's been robbed of that right, of that blessing, cries out. Verse 35. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. So they realize what happened. Oh, Jacob, he's tricked us. Verse 36. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? Remember, that means supplanter, one taking the place of another. It says, For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? So Jacob, well, he's been truly named. He's taken away birthright through the transaction over the pot of stew, and now he's taken away the blessing. So now, like I said, I think these two, I don't know all the ins and outs on this and how this would work. I'm not sure we have a ton of information on that to begin with, but I think those two are highly related in the place of kind of the elder brother and the place of promise. So, he's asking, is there anything you left? Can I have some type of blessing? Verse 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. You see the extent there in verse 37 of the blessing. Like I said, that's talking to the preeminence. Jacob is now given the preeminence over Esau in the family and in the descendants. And Esau crying out, "Just give me something, give me something." And I think even in that, this is a very carnal cry. He's begging for some sort of blessing. He's begging for some piece of the pie of the inheritance. Verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So saying here is that basically, you're going to succeed, you're going to prosper in life. And, by your strength, by sword, violence, sheer force, you're going to make your living. And then there's going to come a time that you will escape from being underneath your brother's dominance. And that's prophetic for the line that you'll see down there, is that these two lines, is that Esau's line will grow strong and become an independent nation, the nation of Edom, which we will see talked about. In fact, you can trace even up into the New Testament times. Herod was an Idumean, from that region and from that area. It may have been tied all the way back to Esau. So, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. then will I slay my brother Jacob. So Esau, in his anger at what has happened, has basically said, okay, as long as my father lives, I'm not going to do anything. But as soon as my father's dead and the proper, cultural time of mourning takes place, Jacob's a dead man. I'm going to get what I deserve. Verse 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? So she, still kind of the mastermind behind this, hears of Esau's plot, his plan, his desire. I don't know how much of a plot there was in place. Esau doesn't seem the kind of guy to plot to me, but Esau is said, I want to kill my brother. So she comes up with a plan, to flee back to her homeland, back to Haran, back to her brother, to stay there, and then of course bring him back when the coast is clear, when Esau's anger has diminished. In verse 46, we'll close out the chapter. And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? So not only do we have Rebekah here, kind of the scheming mastermind behind this, not just to save her son's life, not just to give Jacob the blessing over Esau, but you see that she's also realizing the heart problem, the spiritual problem that Esau has, that he's despised the birthright and trading it away, very carnally minded. And then also you see here, the fact that he married these non-God-fearing local women from the area, that has grieved her heart. And I think she is understanding and trying to help God out in all of this. I think God could have took care of this all himself, but God's using this scheme. But I think she's trying to help out that promise, saying, that there's that promise to Abraham, to Isaac, and she's trying to make sure, in her mind, she's saying, boy, if that goes through Esau, we're in trouble. She wants it to go through Jacob. And I think she's trying to, like I say, help God's plan out a little bit there. So there we go. We will stop there into the chapter, and we'll continue on and kind of focus here on Jacob's life and what happens to him as he kind of begins his life on the run back to Haran, and the events that will happen there over the next couple chapters. So anyway, appreciate you watching. I hope it's been a help and a blessing to you.